Across the world, women, men, and even children are
This is one request that I have for all the parents, that if you see your kids body shaming, which comes automatically, there is a small rapid fire
sure.
surprise round that I'm going to talk about. Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another fantastic show of Asmee. Today, we are going to talk about a very, very sensitive topic, which is about body shaming. Bob Marley was once asked that what is a perfect woman? And he replied that who cares about perfection? Have you seen the moon? It has got so many craters in it. Have you seen the sea? It is infinite, but it is salty and has got dark depths in it. So, really, are we defining perfection and beauty based on these standards? And who are these people who are defining these beauty standards actually? Body shaming is for real, and it is getting normalized so much in Indian society that one out of every four person has gone through some kind of body shaming, calling each other fatso, moti hai, chipkilli, and these things. You might think it is cool, but it is not really. Have you ever thought about what goes on in the mindset of the other person who's actually hearing it? It is definitely not right. People have gone through mental breakdown to even going to the abatement of suicide as well. So do not take body shaming lightly. And if you think that this is happening, please do not get into this at all. Please advise your children to stay away from body shaming. Today in the studio, we have got a very special guest who's not just body positive creator, but she has also been an ex-RJ. She is a moderator, host of various shows. She is a food blogger and a marketing expert as well. We are talking about Jane Jeyakumar, who's going to be there with us, and she's going to talk about how body positively can be taken up. Welcome, Jane, to the show, and so happy to meet you after a long time. I remember starting way long back with WEFT conference where you were moderating, and we have met multiple times after that for different work, right?
Absolutely. I love it. I love the fact that you've started your own podcast. And I mean, podcasting is just so much of fun. So I'm really excited about this podcast. And I hope any woman or man or child watching this gains some inspiration to keep the smile on.
Absolutely. So, Jane, body positive creator, what exactly this is and how you got into this? What motivated you to become a body positive creator?
All right. So, I had been reading a lot about body positivity over the years, and the origins of the movement is kind of, probably more pronounced in the early 2000s. But I feel that, across the world, women, men, and even children are pulled back into a sort of a shell because their body does not match what society wants it to be. Right. And I myself have experienced this, that when somebody describes me, I was a radio jock for 13 years,
Yeah.
they'd always say, the chubby jock or the fat jock, it would happen. Now, they wouldn't mean to intentionally hurt me, but I took it in my stride because, I really am extremely comfortable in my body, always have been. What I wear, how I dress, how I carry myself, and I, take a lot of effort, but I decided that I will speak for it online and create content around it on Instagram, as the years went by. And I think a lot of women have written to me and said that, hey, you know what, if a thin girl can wear it, a mid-sized girl can wear it, a plus size chick can also wear it. And then today, international models like, Ashley Graham, or in India, Sakshi Sindhwani, these are women who are also speaking for it. I think
Correct.
beauty should be beyond the body. And that is where my idea of body positivity came about.
That's wonderful. I think this is where everyone is moving towards also, but still a huge amount of mindset change has to come in from people's side to not normalize this body shaming. And what we have seen on a regular basis, that schools, workplaces, these are the major areas where you get body shamed. Is there a certain pattern that you see in schools and workplaces that this happens on a normal basis?
Absolutely. I was raised in a school in the Gulf, and growing up, I always saw that when it came to children who were on the plus size, it was very difficult to actually see them move with a popular gang. There was the mean girls fat shaming them, girls and boys. And, somehow it took away the confidence. And I see that pattern repeat itself more so ever in today's sort of world because pretty much everything is on social media. And more than the talent that a child has, or more than, the gravity of, depth of intellectual knowledge or whatever the child has, the focus is always on the exterior. Movies, mainstream media, social media, all focus on that. So it's really sad that somebody who's extremely talented, has the right attitude, is not mainstreamed into success. Of course, as you grow, there are multiple institutes that, talk about how good you are at your work and how skilled you are. But somehow this is always there, more so now than ever. And so I think this pattern has to be broken. And instead of asking a child as young as, maybe 10 or 8, how do you look today? Like, you look nice today. Instead of complimenting them on their looks, compliment them on, hey, you know what, this drawing is great. This speech or elocution or debate piece that you did was great. Start looking at the capacity and the talent of the child or of the young adult, as opposed to the outer looks. It's very difficult. It's dichotomous almost because most people are on social media. I don't know if you saw that child recently who was really trolled just because she had facial hair, and I
Yeah.
felt so bad. I mean,
And
here's
she
a
is a UP board topper.
topper. I mean, this is how you fat shame a young kid, and nameless trolls. It's important that people like you in podcasts like this talk about body positivity beyond the body and say, hey, you know what? While we got to curb obesity and introduce health and fitness with children and with young adults and with everybody across the world, calling somebody names or trolling them based on how they look just has to be called out and stopped at a very young age.
I totally agree. I mean, I think that society has certain expectations now from the way you look. And if it is not coming up to that society, there is automatically a baggage, a mindset that is created, which is not in the proper sense. And what the person who's getting bullied, who's getting body shamed goes through, they don't even think about that. It is absolutely normal to call somebody out names and call somebody fatso and these things, and which actually brings a very, very bad reputation to the society that we are also living in. And what are we leaving for the next generation kids I see nowadays going to the gym, cosmetics are getting created for the kids. Do you see all this in the positive way, or
At
what?
all, not at all, not at all. I mean, going to the gym for kids is just a big question because sports is being forgotten. The
Yes.
ways to actually do it the right way is being forgotten. I mean, yes, you can hit the gym at like by, your teens also. That's all right. But, making your entire like body the essence of who you are, I think that needs to be curbed. The first thing that parents need to do is encourage a healthy lifestyle at home. Of course, it's very important. Eat right, get your nutritious meals, get that 1 hour of any activity as a young adult or as an adult or anybody in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, it doesn't matter. But curb that entire mentality at the roots. A friend of mine, my best friend, recently we had an argument that, should education be the way forward for these kids, not just in school textbooks? I was like, life teaches you experiences. That was my debate. But she was like, dude, if you take young kids and if you actually explain to them and have a way of life that, train them in such a way that you accept a plus size kid in your group, in like a popular group, because the kid is like happy, gregarious, open. Create that sort of a community where everybody, irrespective of looks, is part of one community. Encourage that, because otherwise it's going to become a world of Kardashians and Nora Fatehis and not like people where we want a future Abdul Kalam. Like, you want people who are talented. Curb it in the beginning, form communities, and start telling them you are way beyond your looks. We have to do this.
This is so important. I think this is one request that I have for all the parents, that if you see your kids body shaming, which comes automatically, and if you see that they are creating and getting attracted to a certain group, I think you need to introduce that how diverse the world is, how diverse beautifully the world has been created, and it has to create that balance in between, and you need to accept every body form that is existing
Absolutely.
right now.
Absolutely.
So how you got into Instagramming, and when you started creating these content, was there some trolling etc that you
Lots,
faced? And
even today, not just social media, whether you're creating content, I'm single, on dating apps, everywhere else, right? The thing that you see first is people commenting really, I don't know if I can say this, you can probably beep it on the podcast, but Randi, words like this, just because if I wear a bikini, like you're a bitch. That's the, logic of today's world. If a girl, is positive about what she does and, wears whatever she wants, as opposed to somebody who's slimmer and it probably does not look vulgar, the number of comments that you get from known faces sometimes in your DMs and from unknown people as trolls, it's incredibly high. But I have taken a way like I've taken the path of making sure that I don't get affected by those trolls. I keep creating and I keep telling them, get used to it, and I tell women and men, mid-size, plus size, wear clothes. You don't have to create content essentially, but whatever you're doing in life, wear whatever you feel like, be comfortable. I mean, if you are in the beach, you have to wear a bikini, right? Or you're in a pool. You're not going to wear like an entirely fully covered burqa and walk in. You can't do that. I mean, you have the burkini, which is the more modest version, but any which ways you are going to wear something that is sort of clingy.
and that you are comfortable in, and that's absolutely normal. And people who call such names and who say these things, I think they have got a very very small mindset, and they still have to recover from their toddler senses, and they still need to grow up and understand that a woman would look beautiful in whatever she wears, and she has the right to wear whatever she wants.
Absolutely. And, even in the dating culture, because today there's so many ways to date,
Yeah.
my shout out to all the boys out there is if there is a curvy chick and you don't want to date her, don't say things that can actually hurt the person, like by calling them fatso or meeting them and seeing that they are big and then not seeing them again. I just appeal to everyone, when you go out on a date, when you actually meet somebody fresh, always understand that person's inner, personality is something that you got to give a chance to. And if you don't give a chance, the person is still going to be happy. Like, people like me are still going to be happy, but I would just urge you to somehow start thinking that a person is just beyond their body. There's so much more to a person, in terms of optimism and positivity and, living life on your own terms, which is what I've done on my social media. So many women write to me on an everyday basis saying, hey, you wore Scots, which is a skirt and a short. Like, only you don't even get those sizes in mainstream. Like Zara, H&M, sometimes you don't get sizes. But the idea is today, I mean, there's so many brands that have embraced inclusivity, and these girls ask me where I get it, and there's so many plus size creators who create content. I think the whole idea is wear what you want, feel good in it, and if somebody talks you down and you can't always tell the nameless trolls to shut up, just avoid, ignore and move on, and call it out on your social media. I see a lot of influencers do that. They take these mean trolls and they call them out, and sometimes these people will have the weirdest DPs. They may not even be people who actually exist on social media. So sometimes you call them out, but otherwise just let it go and you be you, because when you do you, the world is going to, sit up and notice.
You be you. That's
Yeah.
extremely extremely positive statement, and that coming from you, I think this is something that people have to start believing in and start reacting to, because whenever they do these kind of trolling act, when they bully you on social media or otherwise also, they forget a very very elemental thing, that what goes on in the mind of the other person that you are bullying right now. So a bully has to understand that empathy has to be created somewhere, that you stay in a society where you empathize with everyone that is existing, and you accept whoever is is there existing right
My
now.
counterpoint to that is, but mainstream media today, I mean, if you look at all the movies, if you look at TV shows, all of them are looking at women and men of a certain size, of certain aesthetic, I mean, look wise. So when you're talking about change in the bullying system, I think normal people should also be cast in some of these mainstream movies. I mean, if you're going to watch a Karan Johar movie, I understand, I mean, a lot of money also rides on it. I mean, aesthetics is part of it. If you look at Mani Ratnam movies in the South, or you look at any of the movies, you only see, faces that are aesthetically, probably 110. So now what happens to kids? They think that that is what they need to live up to, right? But if you look at, say, Malayalam movies in India, which are now garnering great support, I love it that they have real people.
Real people there.
Like, the movies are so original, the story, the screenplay, and real people. I think societies should also be reflective of all of these, mindful of all of these things. And movies, mainstream movies and series should be reflective of real people. I think the minute that happens, you're normalizing that, hey, you know what? A normal looking person can also be extremely talented. Like if you look at a Sobin Sahar, for example, in Malayalam cinema, incredible actor. Like movies like them with stars who are normal, not just men but also women. I think it's very important to sort of like, I mean, I would say while Radhika Apte is very beautiful, I still think she's dusky, she's Indian, she's got that reflection of, a real Indian woman. Every time you have like a slightly plus size person who's on screen, I forgot her name, but the girl who was Bhumi Pednekar, but now has removed ribs apparently in order to look like, completely with no tummy at all. I mean, a woman having a tummy is normal. The paunch is cute, man.
Yes, absolutely.
Keep it. I mean, I know it's important for the stars, but somewhere someone has to normalize looking normal and ordinary is also cool. I think that's where bullying can stop, to be honest.
Yeah, I think fitness is another story altogether, that you have to remain fit. And fitness is from inside. When you feel that you have the right energy, when you feel that your muscles has the right strength. But when you get into getting thinner, that is something that has to be removed from the mindset of people. So any last few words that you would like your audience to listen to, and how would you like to wrap this up?
I mean, if you look at Gen Z going forward, because they are the ones who are going to be taking over mainstream, social media and life in general, I really feel that the way forward is not to normalize surgeries, Botox, and all of these, liposuction. I'm going to shave my jaw so that it looks great. I mean, these are things that are happening, and unfortunately, I mean, for the aesthetic side of things, it's great, but for a normal person, let's start discussing what are you doing with your life that actually has made a change, made an impact. What are you doing on an everyday basis that you can make the world a better place to live in? I think conversations should be on these lines, and what is the impact, how many people are looking up to you and becoming better because of you, what is success. On the one hand, while everything is about aesthetics, India is also a country where it's a startup hub of the world, and if you look at Bangalore specifically, so many startups, so there's so much that you can do in order to become, take the story of the founder of Zepto, who is in his early 20s, of course comes from an affluent family, but I love the fact that he, instead of just becoming a content creator or influencer, which is not a bad thing, I mean that's great, today has a business that has a great valuation, and it's one of the biggest, fastest growing brands in the country. So I think the shift and focus should be on what you do, how well you succeed, how talented you are. And while fitness and nutrition is very important to keep your daily lifestyle going, you need to look beyond the body. Body positivity is not just about accepting all body types, but also looking beyond the body and looking inside a person, in order to grow. I think Gen Z needs to start looking at that, the next generation, and also fostering communities of young adults, and from school to college to, young corporates, where you find groups of people who look like everybody across the world, representative, color, shape, size, notwithstanding. I think we need to build communities based on common interests, so that it's not based on looks, and that is where the
Absolutely.
bullying will stop. I think that's my final shout out.
So, beauty is not just external, it is internal. And that is what I think everyone has to start accepting and start believing in. Beauty is not just skin deep. So, very aptly wrapped up. And thank you so much for your time. But I'm not going to let you go just as of now.
Right.
There is a small rapid fire
Sure.
surprise round that I'm going to talk about. So, you're going to answer me in very, very short
Sure.
answers. And this time, we are going to know more about you rather
Okay.
than what we are talking about. This is away
Sure.
from the topic.
Sure,
Okay, this is
sure.
the fun part.
Go for it.
Okay, so let's start off with your favorite color.
Yellow.
Yellow.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. What's your idea of an ideal evening?
A date?
It can be a date, yes.
An ideal evening for me would actually be by the beach. I'm a Chennai girl, so any day by the beach, yeah, whether it's Goa, maybe Bali, I don't know, I would just like to go and look at the waters, enjoy some lovely dinner and a glass of wine.
Wonderful. What is in your handbag all the time whenever you move out of the
My
house?
makeup.
And what
Forever.
else? And what else?
Maybe you will see at least one pen and a small notepad, and you'll also always see lip balm and cheek tint that I carry everywhere.
And your mobile?
Oh, my mobile is not in my bag. It's always in my hand. I've never lost my mobile, touch wood, because of that.
Oh, that's amazing. And if given a choice that you have to go for a vacation, which is your favorite place that you would go for a vacation?
So I really am thinking I want to do Bali this year sometime. But yeah, I'm a beach girl. So I think the island vibes is what I would like to enjoy. So maybe Thailand, Bali, that could be a
Nice.
destination.
I'm a beach girl too. So
Yeah, but
take me
someday,
along.
yeah, of course, someday in life I want to also see the northern lights. So I don't know, that is definitely on the bucket list. But
Yes.
mostly a beach girl. I'm very happy by the beach.
Amazing. And so thank you so much. We will be wrapping up our rapid round as well. And thank you so much for coming to this podcast and talking and giving insights on what exactly is body shaming all about and how exactly things are happening right now. What all. So, can we shout out your Instagram ID also here so that people can follow you and see the kind of content
Sure.
that you are actually creating?
So my Instagram handle is Jane Jeyakumar, Jane _Jeyakumar, and you can follow me there. You can DM me anytime if you want to discuss anything that you're facing in life with respect to your mental health, because I speak a lot about that.
Yep.
And body positivity in general. But my final shout out here to you would be, as a woman who has, like established your own sort of entrepreneurial journey. I love the way that whether it's a dress or a sari with a jacket, I think one thing I really forgot to mention is styling. What you do, right? And what I attempt to do as well is no matter how your body is, if you dress well, if you make that effort, if you style yourself right, like your hair is crimped today, you're wearing jhumkas, you're wearing a red sari and a jacket on top of the belt. I've noticed it completely. As long as you style yourself right, and I think that we can teach our kids as well, present
Yep.
yourself so well that it doesn't matter, what is inside, in terms of, like at least be extremely positive about how you style yourself and have your own signature look.
I think, yeah, signature look is something that we should be talking about, that everyone has got their own way of dressing and
Yes.
own way of styling.
Yeah.
So never stop a child from saying that, hey, don't wear this, don't wear that. It's not looking good on you, because they develop their own style, and fashion is all about expressing yourself.
In fact, encourage children with today the LGBTQIA plus movement also being very propagated across the world. Today, children have very unique signature styles. I mean, I see them wear like you wearing a jhumka today. I saw a young kid that day wearing like a dress, sneakers, a jhumka, and like cargos. Like, it was
Nice.
like a combination of everything.
Everything.
So I really love it that they have their signature styles, and I think we should really encourage kids to have their own signature style, signature, communities that they hang with, like build their personalities from such an early age that they're so confident in who they become, no matter what their body shape or, their color is. I think that should be the idea of giving a person an independent identity today.
Cool. I think that we can carry on this conversation forever, but we have got limited time. And
Sure.
thank you so much for coming and sharing all your thoughts with us. I
Sure.
think it is very encouraging, and a lot of people out there is going to really benefit from whatever you have spoken today. And people, whoever is going through such a situation, anyone who's getting body shamed, anyone who's getting bullied, please come to us, talk to us. You can write down in your comments. We can reach out to you. There is a mental health expertise that is already available with WEFT. It is for meant for women. So please do reach out to us, and we would try to help you out in any way that we can.
Stay
Thank you so
positive,
much.
stay happy, and stay grounded. Success is yours. Just go for it. Don't let anybody push you down because you, my friend, you do you.
So, guys, we have heard about body shaming and bullying and how much mental harassment that it can cause. If it can cause somebody to drive towards absolutely mental breakdown, then this cannot be undermined at all. If you are somebody who's body shaming somebody, or if you are facing body shaming somehow, get over this mindset and move on towards acceptance of any kind of body. Every person is beautiful. It cannot be always the external beauty that you are looking at. It has to be the internal beauty that you need to start accepting. As Jane rightly said, that do something different, make an impact, and that is what makes your soul much more beautiful, which should be the more impactful way to go about it. You have been watching Asmee podcast, and this show is about to end, but not before telling you that we are talking about untold stories of women, and there are many more stories, exciting ones that are coming your way very soon. Do write to us and do share, like, and subscribe to our podcast. And we would be coming up with more and more support from you and more encouragement from you. This is Iti Rawat signing off from Asmee. Thank you so much.